Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show's about to begin. Calum, let's put on another show.
Another show.
Round two. Welcome back to Calum White, who is the founder and CEO of White & Co. We did an episode about it was actually 2 years ago, February 2024, at the lovely One Palm.
Yep, we did.
At the time, you were just like in stealth mode, like ruffling feathers, making noise. And now you've kind of become like one of the, you're one of the big established brands now.
I would agree. We're now one of the big established brands.
Yes.
That's the right way to frame it. That's the right way to say it. You're right. No, I know you don't want to say it, but I was a little asshole back then, all right?
you were certainly ruffling feathers. You were in builder mode. You were scaling fast, recruiting aggressively as well, building a culture. And I will put the link up to that episode so you can rewatch it. So today, we're not going to revisit that as in, like, we're not going to talk about the stuff that how did you get to Dubai and how did you build it and stuff. Today's conversation is more about the evolution of White & Co, the evolution of Calum White.
Fantastic.
Calum with one L. So we're going to start here. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
What has changed internally, externally, and personally for you?
Internally, let's go internally first. We have found our way of keeping the culture the right way, which, by the way, I am so scared, terrified at all moments that we will lose our culture in the business. And I think that that's down to the management, the higher performers in the business. It's just, you know what, it's so much fun. But I'm always scared that we're going to lose what we've got. And, there's a good part of that because it keeps me on my toes. And now that with, like you said, us being one of the big players now, which we 100% are, there are now the brokerages popping up that are now the White & Co from 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
Will they be able to catch us like we've caught these guys? Who knows? But yeah, so internally, as far as a business goes from the inside, we've definitely solidified that culture. Externally, as a business, we're now easily recognized throughout the entire market as one of the top brokerages. I would say one of the top 2, if not the top Western brokerages, and especially in the time that we've done it. That's what's really impressive, the time that we've done it. We were 5 years old in January. It's now, the end of February. It will never be done again, and I love that. I love the fact we've done that because it's special. And we're now being recognized by every brokerage, by brokers all over the market, and by the portals and the people who it matters to, the public, if you will.
You've had a few agents splashed on Shepherd Road.
Yeah, we've had a few, But this is the thing is, everyone, as a startup business, it's tough to hire people. And everyone thinks a fad, or it's, the favorite term is gimmicks, to get people there. And then after 5 years, people start going, oh, wait a minute, they're still here and they're still doing great things. Because it's when you open a company, you're shiny in the beginning. It's like, oh, this is a new exciting thing. Very hard to stay shiny after 5 years, 6 years, and especially with the amount of companies popping up.
Lastly, personally, what's changed?
Personally, what's changed?
You've lost some weight.
I've lost some weight. I was, I think the last time I would have came on here, I would have probably been like around about 110 kg, which is massive. I'm not that fat, guys. I'm 6'2", okay? But now I'm sitting around about 92. I've got a bit healthier. We've got a good group of guys in the office. We all go to the gym. We all take it quite serious. It's fun. And then on another side, I've just grown up a bit. Like, don't get me wrong, like, there's a part of me that's petty, it's a bit spiteful, it's competitive. Like, I love the idea that I keep some company owners up at night. I love it, I really do. Like, I do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't need to be such a dick about it. And now I've learned that. And, at the same time, like, I'm that guy that goes on social media and I say, we're going to do this, and then we do it.
Yeah.
It takes balls to do that. But the thing is, I am so certain in the evidence I've got. It's not delusion. It's I've done this before. I understand the systems. I understand how to create it. I know what to do, and I'm going to do it. And that's why I'm so confident with what we do there. So, yeah, I've grown up, but just don't get on the bad side of me because it's not fun.
Side.
Yeah, it's not fun. It really isn't fun. So, yeah, personally, I've definitely grown up a lot. And I think that when you have, 750 people that you're responsible for.
Oh, gosh, that number's grown since. So you were probably like 200, 300
I think it would have been about 250-ish. Yeah, it's grown a lot.
So more than doubled.
More than doubled.
So things have had to change.
Things have had to change. And I have to take that serious. I'm not advertising here, but I am single and I don't have any kids. So my life, my baby, my family is that company. And just to be clear, it's not come join White & Co, we're a family. But what I mean is the people in there matter. And I take that serious.
2024, there were probably about what, 9,000 agents at the time? And
9,000. Yeah. Now I believe registered agents, there's 30,000 registered. And I've heard this, I'm not exactly sure, but between 30 and 40,000 unregistered agents.
Right.
Now, let me put that into context for anyone listening. There's only 19,000 properties sold in the last quarter. So if there's 60 to 70,000 real estate brokers, there were 19,000 properties sold.
Right.
There are a lot of brokers doing zero business.
Yeah.
Zero. Which it's crazy. And you know what? It's everyone's auntie, uncle, brother, cousin, nephew, goldfish wants to sell someone's house that they know.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the work that goes into being a specialist and you know, that sort of thing.
Well, what would your message to those people be? Because there's obviously the referral scheme that every brokerage has. So if you are one of these people listening who's not a licensed broker and doesn't have time to do it full time, how can you make some money off of your connections?
I think the first thing to say is if you care about the person that you're going to get a real estate license for, so let's say you want to sell dad's property and you're like, I'm going to get a license. You're doing him a disservice by just away trying to get a license just so you can sell one property. If you're not in this game for the right reasons, if you're not in this game for it to be your career, not just a quick buck, then straight away, I mean, it's the same in everything. You should never go into anything trying to make a quick buck. And then point two is every company out there, we have referral schemes. You know, it might not be as much as taking the whole deal, but the point is we would make it juicy enough that it makes sense.
How juicy is juicy?
Well, I mean, at White & Co., the referral agreements we have, it's usually 25% because that 25% that goes externally to whoever referred it, remember, we need to know that we can still do split deals.
Right.
We need to know that we can still enter the market with that property. The power of being a real estate brokerage in Dubai is using our network. It's not me getting a listing and me selling it today or tomorrow. It's us being able to get that out there to as many eyes as possible. And as soon as you make that referral a massive amount, which some people, you know, I get it, we all want to make money. But as soon as you make that referral a massive amount,
you can't work.
You shut
on it with
off everything
else.
because we're not going to work for free. And when the market's as hot as it is, we're going to then focus on the properties where we're going to make the maximum commission by doing the same job. It's not that the commission matters more. It's that we're doing the same job on either property. So why would we not do it for? Like, know your value, know your worth. So that's what I see across the market. And it's just crazy to hear those sort of numbers. I saw something recently. There's more real estate brokers than taxi drivers in Dubai. That's a fact. No, it is. There was an article that came out, more real estate brokers than taxi drivers, which is absolutely crazy.
That's nuts. Well, maybe there's a way that the real estate brokers can double up as taxi drivers because they are.
The ones that aren't making any money, just get yourself back.
It's all going to be G classes, isn't it? They've all had some fantastic years. Oh, well, the good ones have had some fantastic years. What about your top billers? How much have they made?
Yeah, I mean, our top last year cleared take home £5 million.
Wow, pounds.
Take home.
So that's in dirhams. That's
so in dirhams, we're talking 25 million dirhams.
Wow.
Okay, but I don't want to sell that as, you know, he has a league of his own, and across Dubai you'll not find many people like that. But I would say, like, you know, if you took our top 20 last year, they all cleared £1 million. I'm not going to go into, you know, it's not good just always looking at that top one person. It gives a bad perception that everyone's doing that. They aren't. He is definitely has a God-given talent, and if I could bottle it, I would. If I could bottle it, I would. But there is also a good group of people that are also making life-changing money. I think we move here and we just lose our minds thinking that, you know, 500 grand, 300 grand a year isn't a crazy amount of money. And you know what? It's like, you know, an airline pilot, a doctor, a surgeon, all these sort of things. Guess what? If you do your job badly, people die. But being a real estate broker, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's as high value a job you can receive without putting people's lives in danger.
True.
And I just think that we move to Dubai and we suddenly lose the value of money.
I never thought about it like that. It's not that high risk a job.
People's life savings are high risk.
That's
but
true.
If you said to someone, it's either your life or all the money you've got, I think most people would pick their life. So, you know, it still matters, okay?
And you've still done that off the back of, I wouldn't say White & Co. is like an off-plan only.
Definitely not.
You're still very secondary, which I think is going to serve you very well, in my prediction,
good, because
in the
that's
next
how
couple
I
of
feel.
years. So we're going to touch on that. And you've gone down to 4-day working weeks. So tell us about that.
I'm just too nice, you know what I mean? No, you know what it is I realized that at most companies, including when I was a broker, you have the people that come in on a Friday and they want to work. And you have the people that come in on a Friday just because the manager needs to see them. And then they spend the whole day talking about how they're going to have the rest of Friday off. They come in and distract everyone. So what we did is we said at the start of, this wasn't this year, this was last year, we announced it at our Christmas party, we said we're moving to a 4-day working week. And that means that, first of all, there's two sides to it. One, if I see anyone messing around, I can say, you want me to change it back to a 5-day working week? Come on, stop pissing about.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is that if people are in there on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, you know they're in there to work. No one's forcing them. So they can really crack on with stuff. And it's, you know what, if revenue just keeps going up, which is a great place for all of us in Dubai, then I will leave it as the 4-day working week. And who knows, even more flexibility maybe.
And you used to have like your attention to the board or the leaderboard or the stats.
Yeah.
You used to know every deal that went through.
Yeah.
Surely you can't possibly.
I know every single deal.
Still?
I know every single deal. I know every single deal. And
except leasing.
No, you know what it is? I don't spend as much time on the leasing floor, and it's kind of a conscious effort because I want them to understand you're not a leasing broker at White & Co. You're just not in sales yet.
Right.
You're still in the academy. And it's the same as thinking about, let's just pick whatever the best football team is out there. I'm not going to say a name, but let's just say their manager.
Yeah.
He's going to spend most of his time with the first team and the reserves, the first team and the substitutes. He's not spending his time with the second team and the third team. And it's nothing wrong with, like, we need leasing brokers. We do. We're always going to need them, all right? But the end goal is to become a sales broker. So when it comes to sales, I know every single sales deal that happens. And here's the thing, I'm confident saying it on here. When a sales deal is done, I will go over to that broker and say, well done. I know each one of them. I can say, hey, well done, saw your deal. And they go, oh, I did. You know what? It's nice.
Bit of recognition.
But also, it's what I should be doing. You know what I mean? Like, they're putting money into the company. And it should be a thank you.
Well, is that, what's that Pareto rule, 80-20?
Yeah.
Like, if you spend 80% of your time on the top 20%, I don't really know how it works.
There's a few different ones.
Pareto, but
yeah. So there's a few ones, and then you've got
focusing on the bad.
Exactly. Don't focus on the bad, and it's more about just trying to find that positive out of it, because there's always going to be underperformers. But yeah, just for anyone listening, I don't spend most of my time with leasing, but if you're in our company and you're doing sales, I see every single deal. There's around about between 45 and 55 deals a day done at the company. So, and I see every one of them that goes into a chat. And it's relentless. It really is. But then the good thing is, and I want to jump onto this because I love it, is you've been to our office and you've seen things, but the sales boards are never further away than that television over there. So they're never further away than 10 meters away, all right? When that board's going off every 10 minutes with a deal, and there's 45 to 55 of them a day, you're not sitting there thinking, oh, the market's bad, oh, no one's doing deals. It's all just, like, you cannot have that level of negativity when you can see that around you.
Well, let's talk about that, because the question that I often get asked, and I'm not even a broker, is, when are prices going to come down? Is there going to be a crash? Is there going to, when shall I buy? That's the most common question. And I'm convinced, and I want you to tell me otherwise because you're on the ground. I do believe that with the volume of off-plan units that are about to hand over, and versus the number of people moving to Dubai, I think there's an imbalance. So maybe there will be an oversupply. And so I'm saying maybe prices will come down by the end of the year. Hold tight.
I think it was Fitch that put out a report last year saying that the market would drop by 15%.
Which is not a crash, that's a correction.
Yeah, it's a correction. I mean, for me, that's a crash. Like, I don't want to see that. But, and guess what? The market continued to improve. The only time it slowed down was over Christmas, because guess what? A lot of people go on holiday, and that's a holiday period for a lot of brokers. And it slowed down based on what transferred. It didn't actually slow down in sales. It just meant that most of the transfers went into January, which is why we had the record transactional time in January. So it doesn't really match up to what the experts in other countries decide to say about Dubai. And I mean, it's so crazy to people out there, because we all just get fed this lie everywhere in the world that markets run on cycles. You've got a 7 to 10 year cycle where it's going to go up and down, and you're going to see that. Dubai doesn't play by the standard norms. It doesn't with anything, with efficiency, with what they set out to do, with the goals, with everything in the company.
It's an anomaly.
If you think of Dubai as a company, like
they've
said they've went like this. They've went, okay, everyone else's industry standard is this. Ours is this. And they've made it twice as good. They've made it twice as fast. They've made it so they can get things done. And I just don't see anyone slowing down with the amount of people coming to the country.
So is there going to be a crash or no?
No. There's not. There's not going to be a crash. And
so buy yesterday then.
Yeah. No, well, but this is the thing. Buy yesterday. Every person if they bought with us in the past 4 years, they'd have made money. And every single buyer has probably said to us at some point, oh, I'm worried about the market coming down. And some people have talked themselves out of it, and they'll be sitting kicking themselves. And I find it mad that with that level of evidence that we've all seen over and over again, all these reports coming out, which, by the way, I'm just sick of them, because it's us that has to do damage control. But these reports keep coming out. The market keeps not going down, And then people keep using it against us. But what I'm really loving now is we're in the middle putting together, every time a client now says that to us, well, here's the last 4 reports that came out, and here's the last 4 sets of data that showed the market went up. So are we just going to keep believing this evidence when there's no basis for it? Because I'm bored of it.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, like it's not fair to do. And people are missing out on great investments. People are missing out on making life-changing money because they're getting scared. And the funny thing is every single project that we show, whether it's off-plan or secondary, it's getting sold anyway.
Yeah.
So whether you buy it or whether you don't, someone's going to buy it. And it's just a shame to see that some people just don't have the same level of belief in Dubai, especially considering, like I said, this place is nothing like anywhere else in the world.
You can't compare it.
You can't compare it.
You can't think about cycles.
What, you're comparing this to the UK where it takes them a year to fill a pothole, and we put up something at 5 o'clock, the pothole's filled by 11 p.m.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
That's genuinely the world we live in, and you're telling me that we're going to follow the same paths of all these other countries? No chance.
Okay, well, I hope you're right, and
I will be right, I promise
based on that, I will consider not waiting till the end of the year before buying. Right, now if someone watched our first episode and then watched this one back to back, culture.
Yeah.
You were very big on culture
Yeah,
before. You said it got to the stage where you've got your top guys building the culture. They'd come in and their words of wisdom would trickle down, and they were. So who's building the culture now?
Still those same people, but now we've just got more of them.
Yeah.
We've had more experienced brokers join us from other companies, which is always great because they come in, and I genuinely promise this, I can't believe I didn't join 2 years ago. I can't believe, and you know what? It just feeds into all these brokers that are sitting, because listen, a lot of our brokers, we're not a brokerage that just takes brokers, we also make them. Okay, there's some great companies in Dubai, but some of them only take once someone else has created them.
Yeah.
So we've made brokers as well, and they've never ever been anywhere else. So they sit there sometimes, even though they're on the best commissions, they've got the best incentives, and they sit there sometimes going, oh, I wonder if it'd be better over there. And then these brokers come in from over there, and they go,
say, nah, don't
whoa,
bother.
whoa, like just hold your horses,
Yeah.
like don't be silly. But the culture, it's between me, the management, and the high performers, and it definitely trickles through. I mean, like our high performers in the business, there's probably right now what I would call the high performing team. There's probably around about 50 of them, where it's like, they're making life changing money, and it's, these are the people to speak to. Those guys will have conversations with any newbie. They'll have conversations with anyone in the business, and just give tips, tricks, hints, any help they can. And they genuinely care. And I don't know if that's not something I've tried to train anyone to care about each other.
Yeah.
But there is something I say at every single Christmas party, and it's me talking about, we don't know everyone's backgrounds in Dubai. We don't know what everyone comes from. We don't know their education. But, put an arm around someone, because you might be stuck in the same business as them for the next 10 years. It'd be nice to, know some names and be able to help each other out. So I think it's really important. We all move to Dubai doing the same thing. We usually don't know many people. You get thrown into this training room with 30 other people in White & Co. Yeah. And it's like, let's see what happens. It's nice to be nice.
And so going from, 250 to 750 plus team, you were very hands-on, founder energy. Since then, is there anything that you've had to unlearn, or is there anything that you were wrong about, any assumptions you made early on that you were wrong about when it came to scaling?
The right management is honestly so important.
Yeah.
I know it's so cliche. It's of course the right management's important, but see, when you're at that size, like you got to think like a manager might look after 50 people. If you've got, let's just say you got 400 people on the sales floor, 50 people is a lot. And that's a big chunk. And that negativity that might come from them feeds into the next team, the next team, the next team. And it actually makes the business look incompetent. Even though you've got good managers in there, the wrong people in the wrong positions can just make things very, very difficult. And this is no one specific. I've just seen it over the years. And now this is the first time that I can ever sit down and say we have the perfect management team right now. And I just think it's really important because these guys have a genuine care for the brokers. And I think if you don't care about the brokers and you're just there for some money, like there's plenty of companies for you. White & Co's not the right one. Yeah. There's a real estate company popping up every few days. Like,
literally.
Go there, no problem. But you can feel it, and the brokers buy into the management buy into the brokers. They're paid well, as in the management. I know that if a manager gets a call at 11 o'clock at night, and they see that phone ring, they don't go, I could just pretend I'm asleep. They go, right, Calum's calling, give me a minute, I need to answer this.
Yeah, it must be a problem.
And because we understand that the biggest truth in real estate is that time kills deals.
Yeah.
And these guys take it serious because the brokers matter a lot, and without the brokers, none of us would get paid.
And it's a hard one, the position that you're in, and I was in this position before, where you want to trust your management team and you see them in a particular light. But when the agents come to you directly and complain or have a moan or a whinge, how do you balance staying loyal to your management team versus listening to the feedback of the people that they're managing? It's a tricky one.
Yeah, no, I have had zero complaints about any of my managers this year. I get no complaints about my management. I've had in the past complaints about management. Those managers are no longer with us.
Right.
Because if there's enough complaints, there's no smoke without fire.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is, when Calum's around, there's always a different manager from when it's just the manager and the brokers. You see what I'm saying? So you know, that's important. But the feedback that I'll get from brokers, it's usually complaining, because we've got such perfect systems, tools, and everything in place that when brokers are complaining, it's usually a problem that we can easily fix, and it's usually about the market, it's usually about a client, it's never about the management right now. And again, just to be clear to anyone out there, like, I'm not saying it's always been perfect. There has been plenty of times people have complained about management, but one thing that's very clear in our company is we're fair.
Yeah,
there's no favoritism, which it's one of the biggest complaints that we get from anyone we interview. First thing they mention is, over there it's different rules for different people. And I just think that, you know, it's something we've tried to build a solid base on.
And so since in the past couple of years, what would you say, how has the Dubai agent landscape changed? Because 2 years ago, a lot of agents were coming over from the UK, the Dubai dream. How has that evolved since?
We still bring brokers from majority of the UK. I mean, like I said, we hire between 20 and 25 leasing brokers and 20 and 25 sales brokers every single month. Okay, so a new 50 join every single month. And 80%, 85% are all from the UK.
Right.
And we're getting more and more people than ever before who are already situated in Dubai. So when I used to walk in a room and go, who's been here for longer than 6 months? Hands used to just be all down. Now it's who's been here longer than 6 months, and now half the room puts their hand up.
Right.
So people that are now living here are now seeing success that other people are having, and now come into real estate, which is really different from how it was. Separately to that, and I saw this on your podcast, I actually watched it yesterday, I think, was how being an agent in the UK, there's nothing like Dubai real estate.
Yeah.
You cannot prepare for what this will bring you. So, you know, as long as we have the processes right, it's not about what the agent landscape looks like across all of Dubai. The standards are so low. To be a good broker in Dubai, it's so simple. To be a great broker in Dubai, you need some extra training, you need some extra help, you need some management, and that's what we've got down to a T. But yeah, the really sad thing actually is the broker landscape's actually not got any better. Yeah. The good companies, us, Allsop, Espace, you know, Better Homes, all the ones that you'll have heard of, House and House, you name it, they train people right. Yeah. That's who we look at as good brokers or good brokerages, because they do it the right way. And there's too many brokers or brokerages out there. It's not the broker's fault, sorry. The brokerages that just bring people in, just get on the floor. It's crazy. It really is. And it's a shame, because that was the same 10 years ago when I moved here. It's a real shame that that's not got to a point. But then again, it's because the entry level into the market is so easy.
And I do find, the numbers are stacking up, that I think, okay, so you said there's how many agents? 30,000?
30,000 registered.
And then now the number of brokerages has like quadrupled as well. And the average is about 3 agents per brokerage, which means there's a lot of one-man bands out there. So what's that? And I know you encourage entrepreneurialism and all of that, but are agents just thinking, I don't need a brokerage, I can do this myself? What's happening there?
They are. I think that, and I don't blame them, because if you're at a brokerage where you don't feel valued, you don't know anything different. You just think like, I might as well go and open my own, and then I can just get a bigger piece of the pie. Whereas if you're a brokerage that looks after these brokers, like I had two guys leave us to set up their own last year, and obviously wish the best to them both. But they both went on the aspect of opening a business to build something similar to White & Co. Obviously, they don't want to do it at that size. They've both said that. They just want to, you know, have a good little team and then, you know, be able to do it that way. But I think that it's because they think that 50% that they give back, which is what some brokerages trick you into thinking that's the maximum they can give, is where you're capped at. And this is the thing, when I've got brokers, example, why doesn't Dubai George go and set up his own company today?
Why doesn't he?
Why doesn't he? Because the money that he pays White & Co. out of the admin fee, that's what we laugh about as the associate directors. So Jordan walks away most months with between 75 and 85%, all right? At the end of the day, him going and opening his own business, watch when he gets sued for a deal going wrong, which, by the way, happens, all right? But White & Co. take care of that just now. When you're on your own, that's how it goes.
It's on you.
Then Watch when you get fined for something. Guess what? White & Co get fined just now. Then it's all going to be new. Then watch when you have a problem with a member of staff, and then you have to go to court, or then you have to go to, all these things that matter. And the price of opening a real estate company when I first opened it is very different from the price of opening a company now. It's not that Jordan. It's way more expensive now because they want to make it hard. Like, why would they not? Supply versus demand. The demand for people wanting to open brokerages is massive because the market is hot. But once the market, or if the market changes, people are going to get afraid. And again, I think people miss the power of having a big team. I love that sort of thing. There's a reason why most of our high performers do not go out and do one-man bands. Because if you're going to be a one-man band, you might as well just stay with us. Doesn't make sense.
And you made a point about agents not necessarily being any better. Are they being trained better today, or is it just they're louder online?
Yeah, I mean, the hard part for social media, and I'm very nosy. Because remember, I want to hire good brokers. So I find out what every broker, like anyone you can think of online that you see a lot of, I probably know exactly how much money they make. There are a lot of them that don't do anything good. And but social media, you know what? You should go and open a marketing company. Yeah. Great, please do. Because it's the only thing that's happening right now for you. But then there's some brokers out there that are really good at both. You know what? They do really good figures. They do really good content. It all adds up. And then there's some people that's the other way around. They have no content and they make unbelievable amounts of money.
It's true. Actually, the majority of the top billers that I know, they've got private accounts.
But this is the thing, and I say this, I had my meeting with my new starters yesterday. I always go in and I give them 2 hours where they get to ask me everything, blah, blah, blah. And so what do you think about social media? I said, guys, like, if you're new to Dubai real estate, first of all, what have you got to tell anyone? Nothing.
Yeah, shut up.
Like, you've just moved here with your life savings. Let's make some money, and then we can build on that. I don't think anyone else nowadays needs to see any more new to Dubai, here's my journey videos, all right? You got to think, like, see, this is a problem. It's a vanity project for most brokers. They want to do social media so they can look at their friends back home and go, oh my God, did you see Calum works in Dubai real estate? Yeah. Your actual target audience is buyers, sellers, and other agents. What they want to see is, how did you sell that property? What, I call it the value proposition. Are you going to save them time, effort, or risk? Yeah. But most people are just taking, if I see one more video of a broker getting up in the morning, making their breakfast, going to the gym, getting in their car, driving to the office, sitting at their desk, having a coffee, like, who cares?
A day in the life of.
Oh, a day in the life of a broker. And guess what? Half of them are away back to the UK now. It's it just really bothers me because I love social media and it should be used as a tool, and people should not. I call it single channel risk. If all your leads are coming from one place, you're at risk. Yeah. So use social media, but use it when you've got something to talk about. Yeah. No. Stop just making your posts sold, selling, available for rent, available for sale. Like, that's not interesting. You have to provide some sort of value. That's my thoughts on it. Okay.
And it was the same 2 years ago. You're like, some agents.
Was it? I'm glad I'm staying consistent.
Yeah, you're like, it's a distraction. Like, it's all well and good, your TikToks and whatever, but how about your property finder leads? How about that's where you can make some money.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I need to know how you got the @Calum. I'm super jealous.
I don't even know if I can say that on here. Yeah, no. No, like, hey, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Okay.
Right. Can we get that guy? Because I need @Silvia. There is someone already sitting on it.
Yeah, there was someone already sitting on @Calum. Okay. Sorry, mister, if you ever watched this.
Oh, you had to do something naughty. We're going to talk offline.
Yeah, we'll discuss.
All right. I want to talk about someone who I follow you on social media. I know you're like a protege of the Hormozis.
Yes.
You love them. I love them.
That's
too.
my Messiah. Okay. Like, that is it. That is like, some people believe in Jesus. I believe in Hormozi. All right.
Tell us about. I mean, obviously, you follow his content closely, and you go to all his. What are they like?
Well, first of all, it starts off with a seminar kind of workshop, and then pay more money, get the next access, pay more money, and so on. Now I'm at the point where I'm over there in April this year, and it's more of a one-on-one kind of training.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it's pretty unbelievable. I'll be honest. Like, the best way you can describe someone who's a master of something is when they can describe it so easily on how to do things. Like, see, people use a lot of jargon. Yeah. Because they're trying to sound smart. Whereas Alex and Layla, when they describe something to you, it's not about trying to bamboozle you and look like they're smartest in the room. They genuinely want to help. Yeah. And I look at what they've created, and you know what? I love the fact that, like, these guys are people that I can run ideas by, and I never.
So you've got a personal relationship with them.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'd say, like, there's times 4 times a year where I can really run by everything that's in my head, and I can go between him and his team. All right, that's the honest answer. But yeah, every bit of his content he's ever put out, by the way, just to be clear, I've been to the seminars. You can learn every single thing he teaches on YouTube.
He's not gatekeeping.
He's not
anything.
gatekeeping anything. It's the same as what I try to do with my content now.
Yeah.
Someone said, like, why would you give it all out for free? Because I love doing it. I make enough money. He makes enough money. All right. I don't want to go with keynote speaking. I don't want to do coaching. I've got a business I'm still building.
Yeah.
But what I will do is I'll make sure that brokers and entrepreneurs starting out can get a bit of a leg up, because there's so little content for us out here that's beneficial and isn't just noise. And I've got the evidence to show I know what I'm talking about. With Alex and Layla, they've got the evidence. So I'm like, yeah. And you know what's funny is my view on finding a mentor has been a job of subtraction, not addition. I used to love Ryan Serhan. I used to love Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Jordan Peterson, all the guys that you can think of. And then eventually I narrowed it down. Now it's just Hormozy's all I listen to. Because there was a lot of noise in these guys' stuff. Ryan Serhan, I love him piece. He's got me into real estate when I was a young boy and I used to watch $1 Million Listing. But I don't have a 10-year career on TV on the #1 property TV show there's ever been. Yet. To build my narrative off of.
Yeah.
So therefore, listening to the way that he teaches doesn't suit me, because guess what? We're now in the real world where that's not the way it works for me.
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy's stuff, it's never about like trying to get views or clicks or anything like that. It's all about being helpful, providing value. And I love it. Look, I'm a fanboy, and honestly, there's no one else in the world that I get like this about.
Well, I was going to ask you, is there anybody else that you're watching online?
No one else. I watch everything to do with Dubai real estate. So every single time anyone else, any company that does a vlog or a blog or anything, I see it all. I watch all of them because I'm so nosy. But as far as mentorship, you don't need anything else.
Just the hormones.
It's never let me down.
Okay, well, let's hear about some of the things that you may have implemented or done differently in your business or in your personal life, or your leadership style.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few that you can reel
Fine,
off,
I'll hit with the first two. So the real reason why I went to the Hormozy seminar the first time was our revenue was flying, everything's going great at the business. I'm going, this is really fun, I'm loving it. But I had one burning question, and the problem that I had is, how do I fix underperformers? It was really affecting me. Right. I took it really serious. I went, my name's on the door. Every single person that underperforms, it's a reflection of me, and I'm starting to struggle. When we had 40 people, if I had 25% underperforming, it's okay. It's only 10 people. When you've got 400, 700, so on, it becomes crazy. And I asked both Alex and Layla this question, and they both gave me the same answer. And I was so annoyed because I really wanted that miracle thing to fix it all. And the answer was, winners win, losers lose. No matter whether your business is 20 people or 20,000, there will always be 25% that are not right for the business. Focus your time and attention on the people that want to be there and the people that are working hard. Yeah. And you know what? After that, and now
simple.
It's so simple. But I went all the way there looking for like this answer, and it was more a case of saying, it's not your fault.
Focus.
It's not your fault. You know what I mean? And but now the fun part to add on to that is now by being 5 years old and have created so many top performers, we have ingredients in the recipe for success. So anyone now that's not successful, I say this in the training, I go, guys, if any of you aren't successful in this job, it's down to you, because I know this works. Because real estate, for anyone out there, it's not a hard job, it's hard work. Yeah. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. All right, there's a reason why you can go from being a personal trainer into being a real estate broker. It's not that personal trainers are stupid. I'm saying you don't need a doctorate, you don't need a degree. So that was point one. That was a massive thing for me. Separately, and this is my first question to anyone that ever comes to me asking for help, and it's any broker that watches this, any manager that watches this, is it more, better, new? Very rarely is it new. So a broker comes to me, they say, Calum, I want to double my revenue. And I go, do you need to do more deals? Do you need to do better deals, which would be higher ticket or more fees? Or do you need to do something new? Very rarely, especially in this market, does anyone need to do new. Unless you're doing 52 deals a year, one per week, you can do more deals, right? And then unless you're doing maximum fees of between 2 and 4%, maybe it's 2 and then you want to move it to 3 and then it's to 4, we can do more. And then say you're a JVC agent and now you want to do more, maybe you now move to Mac Hills where it's a higher ticket price. And then we start that process again. And then you can implement that on everything as well. So someone says to me, Calum, I'm making all these calls and I'm getting nowhere. Okay, so you don't need to make more, you need to do better. So we train on that. It's very rarely new.
It could be new. Instead of calling, because you sound terrible on the phone, maybe we refine your WhatsApp skills or something.
That could be something that's new, exactly. There's always those options, but just work very quickly through those 3, but follow that path and very rarely jump to new quickly. Okay, don't go to new, because brokers, we straight away think, I need to do something new. Very rarely do you need to do something new. Most of the time, you just need to work either a bit harder, which is more, or be a bit more smart with how you're working, which is better. And that's something that I teach all the time to people. It's a massive one because it's just so applicable to everything. It really is. What else? I mean, You know what's funny is I have never taken as many notes ever from a mentor, and I was sitting there, my hand was sore. You're not allowed laptops.
Okay.
I have to writing it down. I'm just, and then I sat on the plane the whole way back, getting all my emails together, getting it all written to send over to my management team so that we could start implementing things. And it was just unbelievable. I can't even describe how good it was.
So going back to the first point, the you're always going to have winners, you're always going to have losers. And for you as a leader to focus on, what I'm hearing is focus on the top, make them better. And, don't give too much attention to is it?
No, what it is it's more about the mentality.
Okay.
Winners win, losers lose. See the people walking around the office going, oh, the market's so hard. I don't know about my area. Oh, this weekend I can't come in because I've got this on. It's like, that's the wrong mentality. At White & Co., as long as you keep working hard, we will give you everything we can until we see that we're doing you a disservice. Some people just don't get it.
Yeah.
For some reason, we think of real estate and then we go, oh, it's not fair they didn't make it. But yet every other top of the industry, like if you're a football player, loads of people don't make it. You know what I mean? If you're a basketball player, loads of people don't make it. If you want to go to the Olympics, lots of people don't make it. But when it comes to real estate, you expect everyone to make it. So in this aspect, it's more about attitude for winners rather than your exact way of working.
So miserable people are just going to be miserable.
Miserable people, get them, get out of here. Feed the egos and shoot the crows, or whatever way you want to look at it, like that.
And people don't really check. It's a really difficult one to change. Like off topic, but I discovered this documentary that was, I think it was the BBC that did a series called 7 Up. And they basically documented the lives of 7-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 20, like since 1960. So the first series was all in black and white, and you followed around these 7-year-olds, and they've been following them till they're now like 70. So, and the key point of that, someone who summarized the entire season or the entire show, was just whoever you are at 7 is who you're going to be at 70. So people don't change.
Really? That's interesting, by the way. I really like that.
You can watch it on YouTube. It's the full series is there. The point I'm trying to make, or why I'm bringing that back to your point about the winners win, is once you've got that negative person, it's very difficult to...
Very rarely do they have a come to Jesus moment where they go, I'm going to turn it all around.
Yeah.
Usually it's just negativity. But you know the really fun part about, and I've compared that to basketball, football, Olympics and all that, there's only 11 spaces when it comes to football. There's only a certain amount of spaces, basketball, With Dubai real estate, there are a lot of spaces for people to be successful. And it's a shame that every business is going to have underperformers. But you know the crazy part is, like I said about earlier on about the screens going off all the time. You could have 3 brokers sitting having a negative conversation about how the market's rubbish, and right behind them, someone's just made £100,000.
Yeah.
Someone with the exact same tools, someone with the exact same, 24 hours in a day, someone with all the same things, but it's just that mindset of being closed off to it. It's like I seen something recently. Like if I asked you in this room to find everything that's yellow, you'd find it. But then if I asked you, right, without looking, if I said, find me everything blue, or how many things were blue, you wouldn't know because you aren't looking for it. Some people just want to see negativity. Some people just want to think it's impossible. And it's again, it's fun because I love that psychology of it, but I also hate when I see, my biggest pet peeve right now in my life is wasted potential. Like I hate it so much. Like I see so many people that can change their lives just getting into a slump, or it's not just in real estate. I see it all over in different industries, but it's crazy.
There's a lot of focus on mental health and motivation, and there's so much going on. Social media, the dopamine hits and stuff. Like, what's your, as a healthy young man?
I am obsessed with my phone. I absolutely love it. I love Instagram, I love TikTok, I love social media. I think working hard is the most important trait that cannot be taught. Work ethic. I think that the world is full of snowflakes and people that want pats on the back, and everyone's got a mental health issue, and everyone's got... And by the way, you know the weird part about it? And I was speaking with someone about this the other day. I don't think I've met anyone from my age below anytime recently that hasn't had ADD or ADHD.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, if we've all got it,
then it's just normal.
Then everyone has it.
Yeah.
So stop using that as an excuse because no, but mine's is a different type. Like, no, I've got the ADHD where I can't focus. You must have the ADHD where you're super focused.
Yeah.
And then it's weird how suddenly we start talking about mental health more and then everyone's got it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, I'm not very politically correct on that aspect. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to do well. But all I'd say is you cannot replace hard work with all of these excuses. And there's a reason why, most people out here nowadays, and I'm talking about a few negative people, but the average person that you meet in Dubai, if you had 100 people who are over here and you bumped into, you know, I'd say about 75 of them are going to be like, I love living here. It's land of opportunity. It's an amazing place, like so on and so forth. There will always be that 25% that are, again, just not getting it.
Yeah.
It's not right for them, or, oh, Dubai's just not right for me. There's no trees. All right, well, go back to the UK where there's trees and get stabbed.
I'm one of those.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, when you really weigh up the pros and cons, like, even Edinburgh's never been that crime bad for, like, knives and all that sort of stuff. I'm seeing,
apart
like...
from the inch.
Oh, apart from the inch height, you remember that?
I remember that, yeah.
But now I'm seeing, like, articles about, like, people with machetes walking around the streets and all that, and I'm just like, really, are we going to keep going down this route of, oh, Dubai's culture? There's no culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, I know you hate when we jump on a segment about saying we hate the UK. I'm not saying we do.
No, we can. No, I've got my gripes about it, but I am also like, it's what it is.
But when people talk about soul, I'm like, when I go back to the UK, the soul I see is homeless person here, homeless person there, beggar there, the political system on its arse, people getting charged more tax than ever before, elderly people can't afford heating. Like, you tell me about the culture.
Trees.
Yeah, but like, oh, but you know, Dubai's just a big car park.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, plenty of us are happy over here and thriving. All right, so, you know, it is what it is.
All right. The age-old question.
Yeah.
Did money buy you happiness?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I hated being poor when I was younger. I hated it. You know, one time, I'll tell this story sometimes. I stopped telling it to people. I don't know why. But I used to tell it in trainings because I used to talk about the why. And you know, when I was younger, I didn't have money, right? And I one time we had a dress down day at school. And I ended up wearing my dad's clothes to school. And it was a denim pair of jeans with a denim jacket. And everyone slagged me off the whole day, and for weeks and weeks saying it was a denim tracksuit. Now I've got the fashion, I can pull that off. But when you're like 11 years old, 12 years old or something, I was like, oh my God, like that was really hurtful. And it was because I couldn't afford it. And you know, the thing is, like, you'd never know in this day and age, I couldn't care less. But when I was younger, it was like, oh my God, I've not got money. And you know, it was a big thing. And I always wanted to have money. I was always, and I hated getting told what to do. So this suits me perfectly.
Yeah.
But I'd say a big thing about having money or coming into money or getting money or earning money, whatever, it doesn't change it just shows you who you really are. Like, nothing, any of my friends, you speak to them, it's not, oh, Calum, now he's got money, he's like this. Like, I just want to take care of everyone. And like I said, I don't have a family as in kids and all that sort of stuff. Like, my friends are my family, and I just love spoiling them all, and I love seeing them all have a good time, and I just love it. Like, what's life for, especially when you're successful, if you can't just take care of the people around you? Yeah. So, but then again,
you might, I mean, you're 33 now?
I am 33 almost.
Okay.
Soon.
10 years time, you might change.
Oh, no,
you might start thinking, oh, I need to leave a legacy behind.
Don't do that. People always say it as if it's a bad thing. I love this life. My life's amazing, just to be clear. But then people do this, they go, oh, but you might... No, I love my life. My life's amazing. And all 8 billion people can't want the same thing. Yeah. So me, I like what I've got. I'm enjoying my life, and that's great. But if someone wants to have kids, someone wants to have a wife, like, oh, great, I love it. I'm so happy for them all. But what I'd say is,
it's not for you.
It's not for me just now. And if I change my mind, I will absolutely be on this podcast talking about that too.
Yeah, all right. We're going to move on to our final segment, which is future vision. So we're going to kind of fast forward. Where do you see the brokerage models evolving next?
Well, they're going to have to start copying White & Co at some point, aren't they? You know,
does that feel good? That must feel nice. Like,
it's nice. There is no bad feeling of seeing people see something done well and going, that makes sense. Yeah. All the stuff that I've ever done, to me, it's always just made sense. It's never been, let's do this so that we're forcing other companies. Like, if another company starts offering out amazing incentives, finally, you're giving the brokers what I think they deserve. And if you don't, they're eventually going to be at White & Co. So, like, you know, because the thing is, see these top companies between us and the other good ones, we all basically do the same now. Yeah. Now it's just a case of who treats you nicest. So, and I think everyone knows. This is what happened the other night, or about 2 weeks ago at the Bayou Awards, and it really made me really, really happy. They're on the stage and they're talking about an award, and before they announce the award, they go, this company's known for its agent-first approach and taking care of its people. And I looked around the room and I could see everyone sitting mouthing, they were going, that's White & Co. That's White & Co. Right. You know what I mean? And I just got myself goosebumps. But I swear, and like, that is something, like, talk about legacy, never mind kids and stuff, that's the legacy. Like, what's going to be on your tombstone?
You leave behind,
like, you know what I mean? Like, that for me is important.
When when you talk about taking care of your team, your people, is it just with material objects? Because I know you just took a call just before we started recording. All I could hear was Rolex.
Yeah, I paid him to phone us just before. Yeah, I was trying to get him on camera. No. You know what? We've got to think, like, why do we do this job, right? People want 3 things, I believe. They want freedom, they want money, or they obviously want the things that you can't get from work, which is love and satisfaction, that sort of stuff. Like, that's just going to come from their family lives, all that. So you know, I can't give them back time. Well, I can if they're high performers, they get unlimited holidays.
Well, and you did, because you gave them an extra day a week. Yeah,
God,
yeah,
I'm
you did
so
give them
nice.
time.
And then money, you know what I mean? And I just know that I pay people more than anyone else, and I'm still great. Like, my life's great. So like, I'm not sitting here going like, oh, why did I pay these? They get what they deserve.
Yeah.
Because all tiered towards what you earn in the business is what you get. You get this for earning this. And that's the fun part about it. So, you know, I'd love to say it's not material, but it is, because that's the easy part for me. Remember, I do have to have, obviously, a way that I can make it applicable to everyone in the business. It's not just certain a few people. So therefore, everyone needs to be able to earn the same thing, or be able to collect the same thing, or get the same stuff. But I mean, even today, or when was it, the other day? Someone's like, you know, oh, can I get this instead of this? I'm going to put it through as a Rolex, but I just want the money so I can do this with it instead. And I was like, yeah, of course, mate. It's your money.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And you've got your own currency in-house, haven't you?
Yeah,
What's
we've got
coins
the coin system. No, essentially, it means that every $1,000,000 dirham you bill, you get 50k. It's an extra 5% on top of what you earn. It's simple as that. People always try that. So how much does it's just simple as this. You bill $1 million, you get 50k. You bill 100, you get 5k. It's a 5% buffer,
right?
if you
So
will.
you can collect that in cash. You
do whatever you want with it.
Right.
But sorry, your question in the beginning was, how's the landscape changing for brokerages? I spoke about people copying what we're doing. I said, that's amazing. I'll tell you what's going to need to, if this market, not that it changes, but if they get smart about who they're letting into the market, a lot of brokers are going to struggle. Because this idea of just letting anyone have a broker card, it doesn't make sense for the market. It makes it much tougher for us to keep the prices at the good side. Because if you've got bad brokers and terrible workforce and people not understanding with the skill set, then straight away they've no negotiation skills.
Yeah.
It's just a fight to the bottom. And I think that the good agencies will continue training people well, and I think that will continue forever. But Dubai, you know, for as fast as they are, I'm still very surprised they've not changed it to 2 brokers being able to list and then eventually 1. But you know, we've got there's pros and cons to an exclusive market. I also like the idea that a new brokerage can open today and they could phone any client and go, yeah, but you're only listed with 2 brokers. Give us a chance. Like, it's a pro and a con, you know. So as far as the brokerage model, that's what I see changing.
Okay. And what about, so whilst you believe there's not going to be a crash or much of a correction, there has to be some kind of slowdown in off-plan, which you're well placed for anyway, because you're mostly secondary. But do you think that a lot of these new agencies that have opened up that just focus on off-plan, what's going to happen to them?
Okay, so first of all, just to clarify, White & Co, 35% of our deals now are off-plan. So it's a sort of, for every 1 deal that we do in off-plan, we do 2 in secondary, which is perfect. I was recently, I won't say where or anything because I don't want to badmouth any of the companies I was with, but I was with a lot of the people from other companies that do only off-plan.
Right.
This is their genuine conversation. No, we just sell off-plan, so when it comes down to secondary, they can just come at you.
And then where are you going to be when that happens?
That is the definition of a quick buck, and then being out of there.
Yeah.
See you later. That's not my problem. So whatever you were promised for that off-plan property, I'm sure right now the market's amazing. I'm sure it's going to have still went up, but we're not going to be there to help you.
Yeah.
Because that involves actual skill. And I want to be clear, like, I feel really bad on off-plan brokers because everyone's sold on off-plan right now, and they're all just like, we have brokers right now that join the business. They're like 2 weeks in, they're going, can I go into off-plan? I'm like, just chill out. No, you can't. Like, every broker in our business can sell off-plan, but we've also got a dedicated team.
Right.
They want to go on off-plan because they see the big fees and they go, oh, that's the quick money. But they don't think of any good off-plan broker I know. They built a network from secondary and now they sell to the people that now trust them.
Right.
Because think about it, you join the market today, you sell someone an off-plan property, it's going to hand over in 3 years. Until 3 years comes, that person has no evidence that you gave them the right thing.
Yeah.
Whereas if I sell something today, I can prove I can do a good job for you. If I get you the right price that you ask for, I can prove it. And I just think that the market right now is just pitched towards tour guides, not specialists.
Oh yeah, that was another word that came out. Yeah. Tour guides.
Tour guides, not specialists. And it's not every off-plan broker, by the way. Off-plan still has to work hard because they need to find the right projects. They need to get people to buy in. And it's tough selling a dream. But you know what's much better than just selling off-plan? It's selling someone an off-plan property and then saying, by the way, once this hands over, we're going to sell it for this, and keeping that relationship. Instead of just being, we're here just right now while the market's all great, we're going to sell lots of off-plan, and then where will we be? Who knows?
So do you have that duty as a leader then, or not just you, but all the other CEOs, to start transitioning people from off-plan into ready to start handling these handovers?
So the good thing about White & Co is we're hybrid. So every broker's a secondary market agent that sells off-plan.
Right.
See when off-plan brokers join us, first of all, they're perplexed at the fees from secondary. They're like, wait, this is only 2%.
I don't get out of bed for less than 7.
But then it's going to them, it's saying to them, it's getting them to understand, yeah, but if you add this onto the business you do anyway, which is where the bonus is.
Yeah.
Because if you're just an off-plan broker, like, what are you doing?
You don't know how to do a viewing.
Well, like you built no people skills. Like, oh yeah, we're just going to go down to this developer's office. You're going to meet the developer and then hopefully pay 20%.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is making our brokers bulletproof. So, example, if we sell something in Abu Dhabi today, we sell it, we give them the projections, and we say, oh, and just so you know, we're opening an office right now in Abu Dhabi because when it comes to selling it, we're going to be there to hold your hand through that process as well.
Are you really?
Well, sorry, we're doing Abu Dhabi, Iraq, and Dubai, but I used Abu
cool.
Dhabi as an example because when we were selling a lot in there, that's how our brokers were pitching it. It's not just we're going to sell. Like, if I'm any sort of buyer out there, I'd be saying, yeah, if I buy this, are you going to resell it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure we are. Go and have a look at their listings. Do they have any listings live? Are they selling secondary? Because we've got a team of what right now? Almost 500 agents who are going to sell it.
Yeah.
Versus what? The off-plan company where they're going, they don't even have a property live on any of the portals.
Yeah, they don't know how it works there.
Exactly.
All right. And anything else apart from your quest for exclusivity or some kind of solution for exclusivity? Anything else that needs to change in the industry for long-term sustainability?
Anything else that... Yeah, you know what I'd really like? I just, first of all, I would love just an exact spot you can go to, much like the Wall Street Journal in New York, or America, sorry, where you can just see, and it's also, it's also properly investigated that people have sold what they sold. I think that as soon as we get a list out of showing who's the top brokers, who sells what, instead of people just popping up and saying, I sold this, I sold that, no one knows. And even the Dubai Land Department, they do have a section on their REST app where it shows brokers and what they've sold, but it only shows it if you were the seller's agent.
Right.
So anything for a split deal or anything off plan,
won't show.
There's nothing. And like I said, if we're doing 33% of our business, 35% of our business is off plan, that's a lot of deals getting missed. And then assuming that another 33% are split deals, there's another huge amount getting missed. And I think that's a great way to get, first of all, the brokers in the market who are bringing the most money to the market. First way to give them a perk, and then separately to that, it'll stop companies just talking rubbish about their brokers, because you'll be able to go on, you'll be able to type in White & Co, and you go, Jesus Christ, look at the amount of deals they're doing. And the same with some other fantastic brokerages. And see the ones that are playing a game and they're pretending they're selling all this stuff, you'll soon go, oh, wow. So that's something I would really like in the market. Again, it's about transparency. Yeah, that's my. I just want to see transparency across the market. Let's be honest, we're never going to get Companies House. I would love that. Yeah. Because one of the first places I'd send people, I'd go have a look at the revenue. Go have a look at what's... But I can't, because let's be honest, it's never coming to Dubai. And
just for anyone who doesn't know, Companies House is in the UK. If you have a registered company, you can go in, you can see you can see their actual filings, their
tax, everything, all that. Yeah. You can see all the money that company made, basically. And then from that, if I was a broker, I'd go, how many people did they have? Here's how much they earned. Here's how much the average broker makes. But that's not coming. So the next best thing I can think of is this. But yeah, you know what? I just want it to be all transparent. I just want to play on a level playing field and keep trying to, take more market share and do the best we can.
Okay. Now, I'm going to end this on my final question, which is, let's say we're going to sit here in 2 years' time. And I'm going to remind you, it'll be 2028, February 2028. Let's get it in the diary from now. Camilla, put it in the diary. What's going to change? What's going to look different? What are you looking forward to?
We will be the #1 agency in Dubai. We're #2 as far as Beirut says this year. The hard part for us is, there's nowhere to get any awards apart from the 2 major portals, and then you've got the International Property Awards. We already won that last year, but that's not as heavily ranked, I don't believe, as the 2 major portals. I want Property Finder to tell us we're the #1 quality agency for the big dogs, and I want Beirut to do the same. This year we were second on Beirut. This year we'll see what we come on Property Finder. We've got a lot of work to do. We know what we accomplish in our office every single day. The sad part is because there is a lack of transparency in the market, no one out there, unless you're in White & Co, and unless we're sharing on social media, there's no benchmark. I want to compete with the best. I want to take on everyone, and not from a place of saying, oh, we're going to beat you like that. I want to be amongst the peers, and I want to do better than them, if I'm honest.
Little life hack, you know how you can tell the benchmark? So every agency's had their end of year awards, like the last couple of months. Just zoom in.
I do a screenshot of the numbers and then they go straight in the group chat. I'm like, this is what they... No, I do, I promise.
So we do kind of have a Companies House. It's the annual awards. So, okay, brilliant. It's been great having you back on.
Thank you so
Calum,
much.
As concise and articulate as ever. I really enjoy that about you. This guy, when you ask him a question, quickly process it in his head, and he gives you the answer. No pauses, no fluff. No, you just get, that's what I really like about interviewing you. And I look forward to speaking again in 2 years' time, unless something comes up in the next year or so.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll see you at some point soon anyway.
And I'll see you at the awards,
You will.
hopefully, and I'll be rooting for you to win.
Thank you so much.
Top dog. Hope you enjoyed that episode. I'm going to put the link here again for Calum's first episode, but this one is way better. So just, we'll stick to this one. But if you want to learn more about his history and the beginning of White & Co., check out the other episode and join us for the next one.